This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Caregiver Chronicles. My name is Sarah, and today I have Celia Landman with me. Celia is a mindfulness educator, a mindfulness counselor, a nonviolent communication trainer, and she is also the author of the book, When the Whole World Tips, Parenting Through Crisis with Mindfulness and Balance. Hello, Celia, and welcome to my show. How are you today?
I'm doing really well today, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Can you please further introduce yourself to my audience?
Let's see. I'm a mother. I have two children who are now 24 and 20. Almost grown up-ish. I work with people who need some support. I've worked with teens in a residential mental health facility dealing with kids through all kinds of trauma. And I have experience with that with my own child and also with ongoing mental health issues. And I enjoy supporting parents who need a lot of support because it's a rough ride. We don't, they don't come with this warning label or with this list of this is what to expect. I mean, we have some we kind of have guidelines, but then things can happen and you can end up in some deep water. So, and I also work with communication, doing training for something called nonviolent communication, which is a rather unfortunate name because who thinks they have violent communication? It sounds pretty terrible, but it's really about being aware of how much we already do the blame and the judgment and the shame and the right and wrong and the whole polarization and making that visible, calling it by the name of violence. And it actually separates us from connection. So I work with folks talking about how to communicate in different ways that are more connecting too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I want to ask, so I know you mentioned you talk a lot about mindfulness and things like that. What is mindfulness for parents? What does that look like?
Well, my flavor of mindfulness, because mindfulness is just this really, really big umbrella that can hold a lot of different modalities. But the overarching idea about mindfulness is that it's being aware. It's being aware of what's going on in me and around me with this special ingredient of kindness and curiosity and openness. So it's different than when we're in a situation and we are, like something happens and we're frustrated and we're angry or we experience some feeling. It's the ability to accompany that feeling, to see, there's a lot of anger in me right now. Okay, what is this? What is this asking for? What is this needing? How can I support this? So it does this accompaniment. So and I am a student of the late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, and he always said, when we're in mindfulness, we are both the subject and the object, right? We're the thing we're investigating and we're the investigator. So it's not different for parents, but parents have a different world. They have different stress, different expectation, different demands when you're a parent.
Absolutely. I like how you mentioned that it's not, it's investigating your feeling. It's investigating the anger, not just saying, nope, I'm not allowed to be angry because angry is going to bring more negativity. It's like, I'm angry. Why am I angry? What do I need? How do I support this feeling? So what do I need for this feeling? I find that interesting. Are you willing to talk more on that?
Sure. Yeah, this is something I really find supportive. That this is, mindfulness of feelings, because we can be mindful of so many things. I can be mindful of sounds, or I can be mindful of my body, but it's feelings, and feelings always have a space in the body, right? It's never just a thought. There's a body component. Some of us are more comfortable in bodies. So body is a great way to be with feelings. It's like, oh yeah, my throat is tight and my stomach gets clenched, or what's happening in my jaw. And then it's noticing, okay, this is here. It's an acceptance. This is here. And when I do this accompaniment, I don't like to call it work. I want to call it accompaniment. It's actually learning how to be a friend to myself. It's learning how to not abandon myself. And I legalize all my feelings. I make them all legal, which doesn't mean I blend with my feeling and I do stuff. So it doesn't mean that when I feel this anger in me, I'm like, yay, let's go, anger. Let's do it. Let's wreak havoc on the world. No, it means anger is like anything. It's information. It's information about what's happening in me and around me. Something just happened, something that wants my attention, or sadness, or mourning, or jealousy, all those feelings that are really uncomfortable, like envy. Oh, envy is hard. Ooh, I like, or jealousy. I want to be them. I want their life. Their Instagram looks so much better. So it's understanding that's there for a reason, and how can I be with it? And it's even starting, there's something in my body that's telling me something. Can I come to the very edge of it? If it's a big feeling, if it's a difficult feeling, it could be too much too. So we always want to do it with wisdom. Awareness of capacity is huge. Because if I'm dealing with grief, if I've had a major loss, if I go right into the middle of it, if I kind of push through, I'm going to get overwhelmed. All of me will be sad. All of me, I'll fall into helplessness or despair. So I always want to do it with awareness. Can I hold just a few drops of this sadness? Can I teach this anger to breathe? Can I walk with my anger? And I talk about anger in my book, Rage, because I came from a house where there was rage. And it was absolutely shocking to me that I found that when I had children, I started raging. And that is a form of abuse, that I was doing to them what had been done to me. Except I apologized because, I knew what it did. I know how damaging rage can be. So working with that, accompanying that rage was that was kind of the moment when I was like, you know what, this is not something I want to hand to my kids. I don't want to transmit this. So I used mindfulness of feelings, awareness, and I started to break that cycle because that was an addiction. It is an addiction.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I do want to talk about your book. Can you talk about, like, I know you talked about the rage that you were feeling and how that you discussed that in your book, but let's talk about the inspiration in your book and what drove you to write it.
So it actually started as research for a master's degree, my master's thesis in mindfulness studies. And I was reading some reports of parents who had adult daughters who had repeatedly attempted suicide. And there was this report of despair and helplessness to the point where the parents were regretting that they had become parents. They didn't visit their kids in the hospital. It was all too much, the too much pain. So when I encountered that, when I saw those studies, it was like, oh, I could feel the weight of that. And I had also been a parent who has gone through multiple suicide attempts with my child. I could understand that despair. I could really have this sense. And I also knew there's something else that can happen. It's like if there's the ability to accompany those feelings of helplessness and despair, those feelings of overwhelm, that there's a way to support ourselves as parents and also keep our hearts open to our children, that it's not that we have to kick them out of our heart to stay balanced. I also had been through a physical injury with my son at the same time when my daughter had her first attempt. So I had two kids who were out of school, two kids who were needing a lot of medical intervention, a lot of attention. And my life became doctor appointments and managing my kids' health. And I saw how easy it was to lose myself in that, to lose any sense of okayness for me, and how important it was. And I leaned on my practice. I leaned on this idea of how I am matters, how I am transfers. And I've been able to find ways to do something different. It doesn't mean it's like great. And it doesn't mean I feel that I want anything difficult to happen. It means I learned that my intention matters. And also I have confidence that if the worst thing happens, I know how to show up for myself. So I'm not afraid anymore. It took the fear out of it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can relate in a aspect, not completely, but in an aspect of what it's like to balance having two kids with two very different types of needs, but still needing a significant amount of support. But I can relate to the aspect of having two kids who need two different types of support. And maybe not to all of your story, obviously, and everyone's path is different. I'm not saying, but I can relate to that. And I think that you said something that was super important. How do I show up for myself when the worst happens? How do I manage myself and my own self-care, my own needs during this time, my own emotional needs, my own spiritual needs, my own, all the other needs besides just the basic, like brushing your teeth and eating, and that's really important. Are you willing to give some tips to parents who maybe are in this type of shuffle and what they can do?
Yeah, and I'm remembering we talked about doing a little meditation. Would this be a good time to just share a little
I
meditation
say
about
let's
this?
do it. I just disclaimer for anyone who's listening while driving. Don't don't meditate and drive, please.
Well,
Um,
don't close your eyes.
yeah, do this.
Don't keep your eyes
Um,
open.
listen, come back to this later. You can always come back and listen to it later. But yeah, don't meditate while driving. But yeah, absolutely we can do that.
I want to get my bell. I love a bell. My teacher always used a bell. So I'm going to use a bell and I hope it sounds okay. I have a filter in my mic. Sometimes they sound weird on audio. So this will be just about a 5 minute one.
Perfect.
So this is something that is inspired by a teacher named Mark Nunberg, and it's really about caring for ourselves and that ability to listen to our own self. So I'm gonna, as we say, invite the bell. So you'll hear a little half sound, then a full sound, and then I'll just go right into it. And wherever you are, driving, okay, keep driving. But if you're not driving, this is an opportunity for you to stop, to just stop. Give yourself the gift of pausing. And if you're wherever you are, standing or sitting, just asking if your body can do a little less holding right now, a little less tightening, just inviting some ease into the body. And together we'll listen to one full sound of the bell. So just noticing that there is a body here. So bringing awareness to the whole length of this body, from the top of the head to the soles of the feet, from fingertip to fingertip, coming into the landscape of this body, and this body is your home. So returning home to yourself. And being aware of my body. I care about this body. Let me care for the pain in my body. Just opening your heart to everything in the body. This is how it is right now in my body. And inviting this body to rest in my own care. And I care about you, my body. I care how you are. I care how we are. Becoming aware of my heart, this tender feeling heart. It can hold joy and pain. Noticing what is here, what's here in my heart. I care. I care about these feelings and I care about my heart. Let me always be here for the pain and the joy in my heart. Let me always be able to accompany myself. Inviting my heart to rest in my own care. Becoming aware of my child. Recognizing that I care for you deeply, but I can't keep you from your own experiences, from your pain. I can't keep you from your body, your heart. But I care deeply. May you rest in this care. May my care support you through your whole life. Aware of all the causes and conditions in my life and yours. May I open my heart to all of this. May I hold it all. With balance, with presence and wisdom. And opening your eyes if they've been closed, and just noticing what that was like for you.
Well, I know I feel good. That was good. I felt that in my heart center, you know. But again, I love a good meditation. I don't meditate as often as I should, but but I do love a good meditation, and thank you so much for that. Hopefully, my listeners got something out of it. And again, if you need to go back and listen to that, you can. And you said something in the meditation. I can't it was about the child. I can't feel for them. I can't protect them from their own feelings. They have to feel. That was pretty powerful. Because I know as parents we all try to protect our kids. Do you want to talk about that a little bit and what that means?
It's so natural. Of course. If I could make you happy and well all the time, I would like to invent like a spray. You'll always be happy. Yeah. It would be the best selling spray in the world, but that doesn't exist. And when I start to get enmeshed with my kids' feelings, when I can't have any space, whew, I can't breathe. And what studies have shown is that my emotional state is being picked up by the kid. So the more I get affected by their emotions, the more I find myself being anxious or worried or concerned, it actually increases the perception of pain in my child. Because now, they have two problems. They have whatever's going on in their lives, and they have a parent who's distressed and a parent who's, not able to accept what's going on. So it's a huge gift to a child that the parent can take care of their own feeling of distress. It doesn't mean I ignore what's in me and I pretend, because that is also felt. That, we have these very strong detectors that are going to tell us, that is true or not. It means that whatever's happening, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to teach it to breathe. I'm going to check in with that feeling. How can I be with that? How can I support that? And how can I be steady to support my child and know that in everyone's life, there will be enough suffering. Nobody gets out without enough. As much as we would like to make a suffering-free life, I don't think anyone gets to the end of the life and says, that was easy. I needed some more challenge. I needed things to be a little harder. We get enough. So it's learning that when we're in these situations, when our kid is in pain, it has an impact. It absolutely has an impact. How do I take care of what's happening in me so that I can give the gift of my solidity and my intention to be there with my child, and the presence of the quality of my presence matters. So it doesn't, and sometimes it's admitting, I would love to take this away and it's not mine. That this is so hard for me to hold this suffering. It's really hard. Maybe I need to talk to somebody or share about this or take a walk or look at something beautiful to remind myself that there's more than only suffering in the world, that I don't want to ignore, but I also want to nourish the other part of life, that there is beauty, there's spaciousness. And do I have the capacity to hold this? Do I need support?
Thank you so much for that. I think that that's great advice and great things to think about. Again, especially as parents, we struggle with our kids' feelings and we escalate without even meaning to, completely unmeaning to. When our kid is having a bad day and they come in and they throw their backpack down and stomp off to their room and slam their door, we're like, hey, what the heck? A lot of parents' response is like, hey, what are you doing? Like, get over here, pick up your backpack. Don't go stomping in your room. Don't slam the doors. And that just, it just escalates. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. What are they feeling? How do I deal with I'm frustrated that they just came in and started throwing and slamming things. Like, that's not appropriate. But how do I deal with this for myself for the moment? And then how do I deal with their thing? And I think that that's super important. We also talked about equanimity.
Yeah.
In our interview.
Can I just get back to what you just shared about? Because for me, it's always remembering, what's my intention? It's like if the kid comes home, they dump their stuff, they run up to the room, slam a door. Is my intention to create a world where everything is, perfect and beautiful in my house? I mean, I do love a little order. I do, that really helps me. But what's my intention? Is my intention to be there to support my kid, to connect with them? Or is it to, am I really going in with, I'm going to punish you because I don't want to deal with this? So staying in integrity with my intention, where, it's something happened, and it doesn't mean I'm going to be passive. It means something happened. This just, there's backpack and books on the floor. There's a slammed door, what's happening? What's going on? Can I show up with curiosity instead of judgment? Can I stay with that intention of nurture and guidance? Or do I just flip right into, this is not acceptable in my house?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and again, I think that different parents interpret on different days, interpret those moments differently. I know I usually give my kid a few minutes when I see that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give him some space. He obviously needs it. And then I'm gonna knock on the door and say, hey bud, how was your day?
Yeah.
And then you kind of left your backpack in the middle of the floor. It's a trip hazard. Can we please pick it up so no one gets hurt? I'm sorry that you had a crappy day, but we can't leave other people unsafe too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's connection. In nonviolent communication, we always say connection before correction.
yes.
So I always want to go in with something just happened. Are you frustrated because, you wanted those guys to show up for you after school or whatever? I make a guess. Doesn't matter if it's right. It just means I'm trying. But then we have needs too as parents. And it's a place where both of our needs matter. Not that power over thing that many of us were trained very, very effectively in that.
Yep. I think we all heard as kids, or at least I know I did. I'm the parent, you're the kid. I'm the boss.
Yeah.
I've even said it as a mom when my kid has asked me why we can't do whatever it was that we could not do. And I'm like, no, the answer is no. But why? But why? So, we always hear that I'm the parent, you're the kid.
Well, when we have that, I'm the parent, you're the kid, that power structure, the kid has two choices. They're submit or rebel.
Yeah.
You get those two things. As someone who grew up, in a pretty traditional home, like with that message, I have done both. I have submitted and I have rebelled. And I've also done the rather sneaky route of, you're just not going to know anything. I'm going to look like I'm submitting, but I am not. So what I learned was to hide what I actually was going to do, to hide my beliefs, to hide so many things. I became very good at that. So I didn't want that relationship with my kids. And what I really am happy about, this may sound very strange, my kids can actually say no, and I can hear a no, and I can say, oh, is this because, so you want to do this? And then we can talk about what my real need is there, because I really wanted you to contribute to the house. So maybe you're saying no to spreading mulch. Maybe you're saying no to doing this thing I'm asking you to do. Knowing that I'm really needing some support here and some assistance, and I'm really wanting contribution. Is there something you're willing to do? Like, what's your willingness here? And not punishing them for, or giving them a diagnosis of selfish or bad for, not choosing to contribute to me in the way I think they should. This is a really big shift from the house I came up in. And for me, it's like, so much freedom that it's not, that when my kid says no, it's not about me. It's not an insult. It's about, can I look at what is, look at them as someone who has their own needs in the world that are going to bring them more joy and life. And that when I do that, when I listen, we have a really different relationship. And they actually learn that they can contribute to me in so many different ways. And then it becomes something they want to do, which is amazing. But it doesn't mean, if we have little kids, it doesn't mean, oh, you don't have to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. I mean, there are things that are not, in this one, no. In this one, this is something where, because I really care about your teeth, we're going to do it. And I'll give you a choice about, I remember I used to say to my daughter, it was my son. I said, okay, so we can do it 2 ways. We can do it. I called it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way was I would literally hold him down with my legs and brush his teeth. But what I didn't know is he liked the hard way. He liked it, where I'm like on the floor with him in his mouth, and it was much more stressful for me. But he was actually having fun doing it the hard way. The easy way was he would just open his mouth, but nope. So it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean we're passive and we let our kids run the whole show. It means that I think of them as people.
Yeah.
People who matter. Yeah.
And I think giving options also is helpful in that sense. Like you said, maybe there's a reason they don't want to do the mulch. Maybe the wood makes them sneeze. It could be as simple with my kids. It could be something so simple when asked to do a task that like, no, I can't. But for the most part, my older son does a great job of helping out when asked, or when like, hey bud, it's time to do the dishes, because that is his chore and he knows that that's his chore. Or I'll give him the option, do you want to do the dishes now, or do you want to do the dishes after your shower? Do you want to brush your teeth before your shower or after your shower? He showers at night. In personal hygiene is a non-negotiable as far as getting that done. That is important. And again, there are certain things that they're just non-negotiables, but giving the option of when sometimes can give your kid a level of empowerment, or where to do a task. If it's homework, do you want to do your homework in the living room? Do you want to do your homework in the kitchen? Do you want to do your homework in your room? Where are you most comfortable?
Yeah, choice is huge. I mean,
exactly.
I don't know anyone who really enjoys being bossed around. I don't know those people. I imagine they exist, but I'm not in contact. I haven't met them.
Not me. The more I'm told to do something, the less likely I am to do it.
Yeah, or I resent. I do it and I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
I wanted to do it. Maybe I did want to do it and now I don't.
Exactly. And I wanted to talk a bit about equanimity.
Sure.
Did I even say the word right?
You did. You nailed it. You got it. Equanimity. I know it's not a word we use much. And it's also a word, like, it sounds very esoteric, like something monks do. My first thought about it was that it's kind of this chill place where it's like, yeah, everything's okay. No matter what, I'm just fine. No matter what, I don't have any emotional upset. I'm sort of like in a very small emotional space of just kind of pleasant, not high, not low, just kind of, And what I've realized is this idea of equanimity it's not that. It's about the space of inclusion. So it's accepting kind of like in the meditation, like we're going to have joy, we're going to have pain, but my heart stays open to all of that in my life. And it means, oh, yeah, I know there's rage. Whew, there's huge rage. My heart is open to this because this is a painful feeling. Rage is, oh, that's a big wake up. It means it's really trying to get my attention. Something isn't okay in my world. So equanimity is this space where it's this balance of care for myself, where I can keep coming back. I keep coming back. Okay, and I regain the balance. It's an ability to see into my life. And as a parent, it's also balancing my capacity. Because if I think, oh, I'm going to be open to, this feeling of mourning when I find out that what my child has will be a lifetime, will be there for their lifetime. Do I have the capacity to really look at that right now? Or do I need some support to be with that? Do I want to be with that? So it's being really honest. It's like it's starting exactly where I am. So maybe there's huge resistance. So I allow resistance. Okay, here's the resistance. So it's not uninviting anything in my life. And it is, in my experience, it's this really weird paradox of peace and contentment when things are not great either. It's a confidence. I can show up for myself. Oh yeah, there's this. And it's not pushing for, oh, what's the deepest, most painful thing in my life, and I'm gonna stand next to it, and I'm gonna hold it, and I'm gonna champion, No, it's starting with exactly what's at the top. And one teacher, he explained it, and I love this explanation. He said, it's like if you're wearing an undershirt, but on top of the undershirt, you have a button-down shirt, you have a vest, you have a jacket, you have a scarf, and you're trying to take that undershirt off. It's not going to happen. You start where you are. You start with, oh, I'm going to take my scarf off. Then I'll take off my coat. So I don't go right in and go, let me rip this off of me. Let me get into this hard feeling. No, what's there? Maybe I feel numb. Numb's a feeling. Okay, I'm gonna hang out with numb. Yeah. Numb doesn't want to go there. Okay, I can open my heart to numb. I can, even if I don't love this feeling, even like we get some feelings that are just, like shame. Shame for me is one of the most difficult, because it always happens in relationship, right? Shame's something that happens with others. So when I step into shame, I'm like, okay, this is so hard. Let me be with the unwillingness. Let me be with that pain of that it's even here. And then maybe I can start with the body. There's this, heat in my cheeks. Oh, yep, I feel that. Let me just breathe with that. So when I step into equanimity, it's not that I stay just flat. Nothing bothers me. No, it's that I know I get rocked, but I trust that I know what to do with it. And that for me is, I'm going to say this, and it sounds so big, but that's the biggest gift I've been able to give myself, I think, in my whole life. That no matter what happens, I'm going to show up for myself.
Thank you so much for that. And I love that. And that's super important, right? That's the biggest gift anyone can give themselves. No matter what happens, I'm gonna show up for myself. I think we can use that as an affirmation or whatever. Like it's so powerful to realize it can be easy to say, maybe not so easy to practice and put into place, but
Yeah.
it takes time. Again, work in progress, right? We all are. It takes time. So just
Yeah.
trying to show up for yourself is showing up for yourself.
And I would write notes like when things were really tough, especially with my kids. I would literally write on my arm, may I care for myself at each moment with kindness. And ease. I love that word, ease. Because I knew the minute I didn't feel ease, that meant something needs me when the ease was gone. Because when I can care for it, even if it's painful, there is a sense of ease because I'm accompanied. I'm not alone. And I even have this taped to my computer. It says, take back your power to make the life you want. Because that's my when I abandon myself, I give away that power to accompany myself. So I'm all for writing reminders. I have a lot of reminders around, because it's easy to get caught. I get so caught in like, oh, I got to answer all these emails and I need to, prepare for this thing on the weekend and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And I can start to churn and feel that, oh no, what's going to happen if I don't do it? I won't be enough and I won't fulfill this obligation and somebody's going to think something about me or be upset or blah, blah, blah. And then I remind myself, oh yeah. And when people are upset, oh, I'm here. I still can see myself as lovable, as, whew, yeah, I got you in this. I got me in this.
Thank you. And again, that's super powerful. That's where all the power comes in, right? Is that I got myself. I got this. So we're kind of getting to the final couple questions. And my favorite question to ask my guests, what is your favorite form of self-care?
So that totally depends on the moment, right? On the day, on so much, because it's really about paying attention to what is alive in me and what is calling to me. So right now, looking outside, it's a beautiful sunny day. We're just stepping into a little bit of the spring sunshine. Something I love to do is go out in nature. I love forests with big trees. I just stand there and feel the energy of big trees. I love looking at flowers. In the winter, I'll go to a greenhouse and just stand there and look at these exotic plants blooming or a botanical garden. Warmth, warm water, baths, that kind of thing. Beautiful smells. I'm somebody who really responds to scent. So, yeah, something like that is really soothing for me. And sleep. I love sleep and rest, giving permission to do nothing. All right, I'm going to go with that one. Because I think culturally that's the hardest one, is to say, for the next 20 minutes, I'm shutting down all my communications. I'm just gonna be. I'm just gonna be with something that I want to be with. Yeah.
Okay, that last one, giving myself permission to do nothing. I love it. Um, I just sitting outside in the sun. That's,
Yeah.
that's let yourself have that day. Um, my mom is a very type A, has to get everything done yesterday type person. I love her. God bless her. She's wonderful. But she's a very she's always focused on what I have to do and what I haven't gotten done. And one day she was not feeling well and she was telling me things that she needed to do. And I was like, Mom, I was like, the thing you really need to do right now is sit down in your pajamas, have a cup of tea, watch TV, just chill, just chill. And she called me the next day and she's like, I took your advice. She said, I pretty much just rested the whole day. She said, and I'm starting to feel better.
Yeah.
I'm like, because your body just needed to do nothing for a day. I'm like, if you were to go outside and chop wood and, do yard work and stuff, you're only going to make yourself feel worse. Like, it's great to be outside and do those things. It's good exercise, it's good for your body, but take a break sometimes.
Yeah. And that's a great way to practice that accompaniment. It's like, can I love and accept myself even when I'm resting, even if I'm not getting my chores done? And that's like, this is so challenging. It's like, showing up for ourselves that I'm gonna, be right there, and I'm gonna love you. I'm talking to me when I'm saying this. So I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna accept myself. I'm gonna see myself as lovable and worthy, even if I lie here and watch television in the middle of the day. Can be scary.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So especially for got to get it done yesterday, people.
Yeah, because there's fear. If you don't get it done, what are you afraid of? What's going to happen? Something's going to happen.
Exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm a lot more laid back with that stuff. I'm like, if it doesn't get done today, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm one of the people that at the end of the day, okay, everyone survived, everyone ate.
Yeah.
We all survived. We all ate. Our physical bodies are all clean.
Yeah.
Probably have some chore I have to do, but you know what? It can wait till tomorrow. It'll still be there tomorrow, and
Big picture. Yeah.
yeah, we're all happy. We're all fed. Our basic needs are all met. All right, move on. I'm more of a like, all right, what, I guess maybe because I've just lived in crisis mode for so long and with my kids and just with so many issues and incidences that sometimes I'm content when nothing bad happens and rather than being looking for like the positive things all the time, just being like, okay, great, nothing bad happened today, this is good. you know let's keep this baseline. Everyone's needs have been met. This is good. Now let's all go to bed. Some days that's all you can do, and that's awesome. My final question for you: where can my audience find you for more information?
So you can go to my website. It's my name. It's Celia, Celia Landman, LANDMAN.com. And there's a link to get the book. You can also get the first 3 chapters downloaded free if you want to look at it. And there's a lot of meditations free that you can listen to recorded, and more in a contact place there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Celia. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on my show today.
Thank you. And thank you. I'm so grateful that I could share this with you. And I'm really grateful for what you're doing for parents and how you're supporting yourself and others.
Thank you. And that will wrap up this week's episode of Caregiver Chronicles. For more information in our show notes, I will link Cecilia's website, and where you can find her book. I will link that as well. If you would like to support our show, you can do so. There's a spot on our website, stelmachbrownmedia.com. But it's more important that you like our show, you share it with a friend, you subscribe. That's really the best way to support our show. Share it with all your friends, and we will see you next week.